Well, as you could tell, that air conditioner pump is about ready to give up the ghost. And my wife's T-Bird broke down while she was driving home from work.
And nobody would help! No one helped me say, please, I want to go home, I want to go home. He keeps calling my name. I want to go home, Johnny. I want to drive my Chevy. I said, well, what? I can't find your fucking legs.
Hey guys, so the saga continues here at Strangers GT. I got my car in the garage. It is colder than hell out there. I don't know why. I mean, it was like 80 degrees last weekend, and then this weekend is like freaking 20. And plus I saw a group of rabid-looking squirrels causing mischief out there.
With nasty, big, pointy teeth.
What an eccentric performance.
And I didn't really want to hang around out there. Anyways, I got the Mustang in here. I had to limp it in here. It was running like absolute dirt. And I think the problem is the carburetor on this thing. I did rebuild it years ago, and the kit I put in there was actually damaged. The power valve that's in here, you can hear it squirt. It's kind of like an accelerator pump, or basically is an accelerator pump. It sits in this housing, and it's sucking air in through the bottom of the housing. And of course, all the screws are stripped, so I can't tighten it down anymore. And plus the power valve was kind of like bent up and crushed looking, and I just kind of like unbent it and stuck it in there. So the solution to this mess is to take that, throw it in the garbage, and then install a 4-barrel. And I so happen to have this nice little setup right here. This is a 1403 Edelbrock 4-barrel. It's 500 CFM. And this is a known working carburetor. I've had it, you know, I bought it new a few years ago. This used to be on my Studebaker before I swapped over to a supercharger that required that 2-barrel. The only thing I had to do with this carburetor is I had to get this bracket, number 1483, for the forward kickdown lever. So that's what this is. It literally bolts onto the linkage. You can see right there and right there. And it provides you with the bracketry needed for that kickdown. And you can adjust it right here. So that was probably like, I don't know, 25, 30 bucks or something. I picked it up on eBay some time ago. The intake is a cheap Chinesium eBay intake. And that I've had laying around for a long time. This was actually for a different project. And that project is no longer with me. So I'm going to throw it on that piece of crap. Might as well use it. It's here. So the first thing I need to do is start removing all this junk. But I want to check quickly the PCV. Yeah. Look, you can hear it moving around in there, which is good. When these things get clogged up, you get a lot of crank ventilation pressure. It'll cause it to run like garbage. Okay, so I saved you guys the boring crap of me taking a bunch of bolts out and the carburetor. And so the intake's ready to lift out. You know, it doesn't look that bad. I was expecting a major sludge buildup, but this is not bad. A lot of carbon on the back of those valves, especially on this one. That is pretty much expected. Let's see what the other side looks like. They all look pretty much the same. That one's got some crap in there I gotta get out. Well, now I got to clean this up and then put it all back together again. Okay, so it's been a couple days later, and all I managed to accomplish so far is get the old intake manifold removed, and I laid the gaskets on the fender. So I guess that is a start. I was also able to add the doodads and dingleberries to the intake manifold, so that's ready to drop on the car. So it's another decent day outside. I'm not sure why the weather keeps going up and down like that. And those menacing, degenerate, rabid-looking squirrels are ganged up out there again.
There is no way of explaining the terror I felt.
And I don't know what to do about it. You know, this used to be a good neighborhood. So today I think we are going to install these gaskets and drop the manifold onto the engine that's been sitting open like that for a couple of days now. The gaskets are in, and I learned something. Like, this is the first time I ever dropped the intake on a Windsor Ford. I learned that these little fingers here at the end of these cork gaskets are there to hold the metal gaskets in place, so when you drop the intake manifold on, you don't fall off. But I don't know, it doesn't seem like they're lining up perfectly. I got them as close as I'm going to get them, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the intake manifold on now. Oops. Now it's a matter of bolting this thing down and putting on the carburetor. And hopefully... Oh, and then I got to retime it because I didn't mark the distributor. Now I got... Oh, you know what? Never mind. Alright, so I've been working on this stupid thing for a few days, and I got the intake in, got the carburetor on, got all the plumbing done. Took me a while because I had to find all the right fittings and all the BS like that. Stuff like this took forever. I had to find the right parts to make this little elbow for the freaking heater hose. Otherwise, if you try to run a heater hose from here to here, it just pinched. So I did all that. Made my bracketry for the carburetor, all that fun crap, and pulled all the spark plugs out. Was looking at the plugs. They don't look that bad. They were really hard to get out. But now I ran into some issues. First off, when I filled up the radiator, oh, new hose by the way. When I filled up the radiator, it just started dumping coolant all over the place. So obviously my crappy job of sealing this intake wasn't good enough. And so I got to pull the damn intake off again to seal it. Which sucks because I got to do everything all over again, basically, because it didn't seal. And then another issue I ran into, which is a lot worse, is this thing is going to need a timing chain. I can turn this, and it's not turning the distributor. See? If there was no slack in the chain, that should just turn like immediately. But there seems to be quite a bit of slack in the chain here. So this thing is probably going to need a timing chain too. And yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't think it's worth putting a timing chain into. So I might go to plan B, and that's just to take this whole thing out and drop that bad boy in.
Alright, this is pointless. Okay, it's time for plan B. You might want to watch out that front window, Larry. Son, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
So this is a 69 302, just like what's in the car, except it has some work done to it. These are higher compression heads. They're Windsor 351 heads. They have larger valves, I guess, than what the 302s had stock. It also has a Edelbrock camshaft of some sort in it. Obviously, it has a high-rise intake and fancy valve covers. So I'm thinking of swapping engines now. It came out of a 69 like mine, but a really nice one. And the guy was swapping over to a 392 stroker or something. This thing is good for, he said it was good for 350 horsepower. We'll see. I know the one that I have in my other Mustang that I haven't covered yet on this channel, that one has got a very similar build to it, and that one is pushing around 325 horse, so maybe he's not too far off. So anyways, I think that's the new route that I'm going to go with this project here. Plus, this thing's got such bad freaking compression, like, and really bad blow-by. There is a ton of miles on this. The odometer says 62,000, but I'm willing to bet that that turned over at least once. You know, the bare minimum is probably 162,000 on it, but I kind of think there's more miles on it than that, because you got to remember, the guy daily drove this car from 69 all the way up to 2012. So yeah, it's got a lot of miles. So probably in the next video, you'll start seeing me tear this thing down and get it prepped for the new engine. And you know what? I'm not going to do anything else. Literally, I'm just going to swap the engine and throw that carburetor on it and go with it. But yeah, anyways, enough rambling. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.